Hey guys, welcome back to Troubadour Farm. It's a warm one here today. I think it probably hit like 85, 86 a little bit ago. So I'm having some cool iced tea with some frozen fruit in it. Cheers. I'm going to show you how to put together a raised bed for a garden out of some renewable. That's one of those bloopers. It's from a renewable resource. Let's do that. And I'm taking these old pallets and I'm putting them to good use, all right, instead of having them get crushed and taken to a landfill. So let's get started. Let me put this baby down. All right, here are some things that you're going to need for a project like this. Pallets, you know, you can pick up just about anywhere. Drive behind a Kroger store or some warehouses. If there's people there, ask them if you can have them. Many times they just say, yeah, help yourself. Because to them, they have to pack them up, ship them, or throw them in the garbage. So, hey, you might as well put them to some good use. So you'll need a good pallet. This one happens to be 40 inches wide and 48 inches long. They vary in sizes. As you can see, a lot of my garden boxes here in the garden are from really long ones, like 7-foot pallets. I got those from in back of a graphic arts designer here in the city of Columbus. So look for a good pallet, and as you do that, you'll also need some of these other tools because you're going to be cutting this pallet up. So you're going to need a skill saw if you want to make it easy for yourself, some power, of course. This is another saw that you may need. Comes in handy sometimes. It's called a reciprocal saw. Some people in the industry call it a sawzall because, hey, it saws all. So this is good to have with both the wooden saw blades, and this is the one I use it for, the metal saw blades, to cut off some nails if they're sticking out somewhere and they're not ones I need to hold anything together. Be good to have a hammer handy, a pry bar for pulling out some of those nails. If they're easy to pull out, if they're hard to pull out, use a sawzall. And then also good to have a measuring tape there and a staple gun. This is some landscape material that you would put down on the ground to keep the weeds out. I'm going to be using this on the bottom of it later on as it gets finished up a little bit. So let's just park that over there for now. Get rid of this stapler for the time being. You'll also need a magic marker or a pen or pencil. Magic markers are the best. I didn't have one out here, but I do have a pen, and I'll be using that. Also be using this skill saw here pretty soon. But first we want to measure the sides, and I've already done that. I found it was 40 inches wide and 48 inches long. So being 48 inches long, I'm going to make a small little, like a half box of one of these boxes out of this pallet. And I'll use this pallet and nothing else. So it'll be a really good use of material. So knowing that it's 48 inches long here, we're going to mark it every 12 inches and get 4 pieces to put it together here. It's a nice day to perspire clean. I'll be taking a little dip in my Delaware County pool over here pretty soon after this. My Delaware County pool is a horse trough, 100-gallon one filled with water. Feels great on days like today. Fill it up in the morning and it warms up during the day. Might even last a couple days. Alright, so I'm making a mark here in the, you know what I didn't do? I didn't get a straight edge. I'll use a board that I have over here. Making a 12-inch mark right down the middle and on the ends. I'll follow that up with a straight edge, draw my lines, and then go ahead and cut this thing into 4 equal parts. This is where we're going here. Thought it was something wacky there. Here we go. There's a good mark. 24. And 36. This is all good. It all came out on solid boards, and that'll make for a good sturdy box. There's an old board laying around the garden here. I'll use this for a straight edge. Put it on the 12-inch mark down here and also up there. And you know, it's okay if these aren't perfect. It'll look a little more rustic, right? Rustic is in. Even rustic that's out is in. So you get some nice lines on here. Something for the saw to follow. And we'll be in pretty good business. We won't need these for just a little bit. So they're going to get tossed off to the side. This will be a really nice box that you could put maybe 5 tomato plants in. That would be good. That would give them all lots of nice space. Maybe even 6. You have to take a look at it. It's good to have them spaced apart the distance that the seed packets suggest. Also, one thing you want to check when you get pallets is some of them have been treated. Now, if they've been treated, there'll be a stamp on there. I think that's the law for pallet companies. When they have to treat wood, they put a chemical on it, kind of like the woolmanized wood or the treated wood that you get for your deck. But they'll treat that with a chemical, and you don't want to garden in that because it could secrete some of that chemical into your plants, and it truly wouldn't be organic, and it just may not be good for you. I don't know if there's any studies on people getting sick off it, but hey, if you're going to eat healthy, you might as well eat healthy all the way around, right? Alright, so I've got my lines drawn on this baby, ready to give it some cuts. I'm not going to spend too much time cutting this particular one. I already have another one cut up and set up to put together, but I do want to show you what this looks like when you go through here and what to expect, because this saw blade is not going to reach all the way through the thick parts of this pallet. I guess it helps to plug it in, huh? Yes, it does. There we go. Yeah, these very thick parts in the middle here and on the ends, they're too thick. We're going to have to flip it over to cut the other side. That's no problem. You could kind of hear the saw bogging down there at the very beginning. That's because it was going through the really thick part. And I'll show you that. I don't know if you can see that or not. Maybe if I bring it over here. That saw mark went almost all the way through this, but not quite. So I'll have to catch that from the bottom side. Here we have a thicker one coming, and we'll definitely have to catch that from the other side. Also, there's a couple nails there, or yeah, they're nails. Those would need to either be pulled with that pry bar or cut off with the Sawzall. All right? Let's get rid of this. That's phase 1. Shouldn't be doing this to my glass dining table out in the garden, huh? But that's all I have out here right now before I get my workbench out of the barn for the winter. For the summer, rather. It's been in there all winter. This we're gonna let's sit there. Oh, actually, yeah. This is what we'll do to make that a better surface. I'm tripping around here on stuff, trying to catch my balance. My balance is off these days due to some nerve damage that's happening down there. But I can still do stuff. I wish I would have left this on there though. There we go. Back in business. Alright. Now, these pieces are from a pallet just like that I cut a little while ago while it was still cool in the morning. And it's not bad now. I'm kind of in some filtered shade here from this nice walnut tree. So now we have these two babies together, a side and an end. All right, still going to be 48 by 40. However, I'm going to put a glove on here, because sometimes you get splinters from this pallet work, and I'd rather not have those splinters. I've already preset a lot of these screws in. Sometimes this wood is kind of tough and it's made out of oak, which is a very hard wood, and you would need to probably pre-drill some holes in that case. This is made of mostly pine, so I think I'm going to be in pretty good shape here, like this. So what I'm going to do is put this one right inside of the other one's corner. Over there a little bit. Snug it into the corner down at the bottom. Kind of give that a tap. See what we got here. Now, I'm going to want to hold this up a little bit so that it's going to be pretty flush corner there. That. Then we'll go over to this corner. Get this up on the inside. Like so. They're not too heavy once you split them up in 4 pieces. I'm getting a little weak these days too. What's happening with my body is it's eating away at my muscles. So I'm not going to be in any arm wrestling events this year, that's for sure. I still like doing this kind of stuff. Love it. I enjoy hearing from you guys too when you do something like this, or you plant something and you tell me about it. It's really cool. It's like, it's a good feeling, you know? I'm glad you're getting healthy and eating healthy. If you watch this much of this video, then you're committed to making yourself some garden boxes, filling it with good soil, and planting some good stuff. I still have some good tomato plants left over, and cauliflower plants too. They're about this high. Some of the tomatoes are 8-10 inches high. So then we would want to put that end cap on that end, screw it all together, and the best thing to put on the bottom of one of these is some really good wire. Not chicken wire, but it's kind of like just a little more dense, smaller holes. What we're going to try to do is keep the riffraff, the moles and such, snakes, from coming out of the bottom of the ground and into the box and eating the seedlings. So this is one I'm going to repurpose this one as well. Looks like it got torn and ripped a couple spots, but that's okay. It'll still do well. This side over here already had an angle cut on it, so I don't want them to using that, because then I'll be puzzling in more stuff. But that looks pretty good. And this is a pretty decent staple gun. You can pick these up for about 12 bucks, I think, at Lowe's or Menards, maybe even less. Staples, they come in packets of hundreds, and they're only a couple bucks too. So that's a good way. If you don't have one of these staple guns and you don't want to buy one just for this project, you might be able to use an office stapler, just because this is pine wood. It's fairly soft. Just put your office stapler on that and staple her down. You can also use thumbtacks. But I find this is a really good way. And since I have one of these, hey, why not, right? Dick's Den, why not? Alright, so we've got that tacked down. Before we put this in the ground, of course, we're going to want to put that end cap on. And we have about 6 more inches there at the end to do. I'm reaching for a utility knife. That's another tool that you should have, either a utility knife or scissors. And then you just cut this. It's very easy to cut. You can get this stuff at TSC or Lowe's, Home Depot, places like that. Tighten this corner down a little bit more. Get yourself some good soil, good organic soil, some compost and manure bags. Mix it up in there and put those seedlings in. Have a great planting time.